So there's this girl from a council estate called Rose Tyler who works in a shop in London and generally doesn't have an exciting life, but she's happy. Then one day the shop dummies come to life and she's trapped in the basement of the store when a strange man from the north comes and tells her to run. The man turns out to be the last of the Time Lords from the planet Gallifrey, who travels through time and space in a blue box called a TARDIS, time and relative dimension in space, solving problems and helping people. After they solve the problem of the living plastic, the man, who calls himself the Doctor, invites Rose to travel with him. So she leaves her boyfriend Mickey behind and they go on adventures to the end of the Earth in Victorian Cardiff and World War II, where they meet a rogue time agent from the 51st century called Captain Jack Harkness. He joins them in their travels and they end up on a satellite in the future where the Doctor's nemesis, Piper Pot-shaped robots called Daleks, are attempting to destroy the Earth. Jack is killed by Daleks and the Doctor sends Rose back to her own time to keep her safe, but she manages to make it back to the future, as it were. She absorbs the time vortex to destroy the Daleks and brings Jack back to life, but the Doctor leaves him behind anyway. Rose and the Doctor leave Satellite 5 and the Doctor takes the time vortex out of Rose by kissing her. But even he can't live with the time vortex inside him, so he regenerates, cheating death and getting a new body in order to survive. After some complications with the regeneration and a Satsuma, Rose and the new Doctor set off on adventures again. They meet a werewolf in Pre-Victoria and Sarah Jane Smith, one of the Doctor's old friends, and then another of the Doctor's old enemies, the Cyberman, in a parallel universe. Then they end up at Torchwood, a secret organization dedicated to exploiting alien technology. It turns out that Torchwood is inadvertently helping Cyberman cross from the parallel universe into ours, and soon they start tramping all over the Earth, trying to convert all humans into Cybermen. Then all of a sudden all these Daleks that have been trapped in a time prison get let out, and the Daleks and the Cybermen start fighting each other without much regard for the people caught in the crossfire. The Doctor realizes that the solution is to trap the Daleks and the Cybermen inside the void, and so he and Rose do that, but then Rose slips and accidentally falls towards the void. Luckily she is caught by her father from the parallel universe, who works for that universe's Torchwood. Unluckily she becomes trapped in the parallel universe away from the Doctor. It's all very sad and the Doctor burns up a star just to say goodbye. The Doctor meets bride-to-be Donna Noble, whose husband turns out to be an alien, and together they defeat an alien spider lady. After they part ways, the Doctor meets Martha Jones, a medical student, when the hospital she works in is transplanted to the moon and ransacked by intergalactic police rhinos. Once that's all sorted out, the Doctor invites Martha to travel with him, and together they visit Shakespeare and fight yet more Daleks in 1930s New York and get stuck in 1969. Then they end up at the end of the universe with Jack, who is immortal following his resurrection by Rose. Attempting to save the human race, the Doctor inadvertently causes the return and regeneration of his old nemesis Time Lord, the Master. The Master returns to present-day Earth, where he becomes elected as Prime Minister of Britain. He conquers the planet, decimates the population, and captures the Doctor and Jack. Martha Jones travels the world for a year telling the story of the Doctor, and finally they manage to defeat the Master and reverse time using the faith of the human people. To the Doctor's chagrin, however, the Master is shot and dies, leaving the Doctor as the last of the Time Lords once more. The Doctor takes Jack and Martha home and sets off to travel on his own. A futuristic space cruiser called the Titanic crashes into the TARDIS. The Doctor manages to prevent it from crashing into Earth, but fails to save most of the passengers. Investigating adipose industries, the Doctor meets Donna Noble again. They travel together, visiting Pompeii and Agatha Christie in a deserted library, where the Doctor meets River Song, a friend from his future. The Earth is stolen by Davros, creator of the Daleks, who is attempting to destroy reality itself. The Doctor and Donna join forces with friends including Sarah Jane, Jack, Martha, and shock horror Rose and Mickey, who have managed to cross over from the parallel universe. While defeating Davros, a partial regeneration of the Doctor results in a half-human Doctor who returns to the parallel universe with Rose. Donna absorbs part of the Doctor's mind and subsequently has to have her memory wiped, resulting in her forgetting all about him and the adventures they've had. In the end, they all part ways and the Doctor sets off to travel on his own once more. The Doctor travels on his own, meeting new people and having adventures, but also making mistakes. He is becoming impulsive and obsessed with saving lives after having lost many of his loved ones. Eventually, he arrives back on Earth to find the Master, who has returned. The Master turns the whole human race into clones of himself and announces that he will bring back the Time Lords. He helps them escape the time lock created at the end of the Time War, and they reveal that they plan to end time in order to evolve to a higher consciousness. The Doctor manages to trap them back in the time lock, but in doing so causes himself to regenerate. The new Doctor crashes into young Amy Pond's backyard. He promises to take her traveling, but she waits for him her whole childhood, meeting him again years later. But only minutes for him. Together they save the world in 20 minutes, and then he does take her with him. They meet Winston Churchill and Daleks and weeping angels and not quite vampires, all the while haunted by a mysterious crack. Rory, Amy's fiancé, is killed and swallowed by the crack, causing her to forget his entire existence. Later, while investigating the Pandorica at Roman Stonehenge, prompted by River Song, they run into Rory again, now a plastic legionary. The Doctor's greatest enemies have gathered to lock him in the Pandorica in order to prevent the time explosion that created the cracks in the universe, even though this won't help. A lot of complicated timey-wimey things happen, resulting in the Doctor flying the Pandorica into the time explosion in order to seal the cracks in the universe. The Doctor is absorbed by the cracks, but Amy succeeds in bringing him back on her wedding day with the help of a proverb. The three head off into the TARDIS for more adventures. But really, all you need to know is that there's this magical madman with a box that travels in space and time, and if you see him, you should follow him. Oh my god, that was exhausting. Thanks to Eden, Tegan, Bowie Freak for the challenge. That was so much fun to do, but really, really tiring, but so much fun to do. And I am sorry I didn't talk about national identity, but that's okay. I guess you could talk about it next week, or maybe I'll talk about it next week, or maybe we won't ever talk about it. And now I'm in the mood for speaking fast, so I will speak fast and say that I hope you all have an excellent weekend, and I will see James on Monday.